Hello and welcome to the Faded Wildflower Crochet. My name is Rachel, and for today's video, we are going to be talking about my crochet bucket list. I have to give full credit to the lovely Lee from Skein Spider for this idea. I thought it was an excellent idea for a video, and I started writing down my list as I was watching her video. So I have 10 different things that I have on my crochet bucket list, and they are in no particular order. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing on my list is freeform crochet. If you've never heard of freeform crochet, it's exactly what it sounds like. You can just make whatever comes to your brain. The main thing that I have seen people do is kind of make crazy like amoeba-like shapes and just use different colors. And it really is just a choose your own adventure kind of thing. And it sounds right up my alley. I love to freehand crochet. You guys know this if you've been watching. And there is a kitty cat outside right now, and it is so cute. Unfortunately, the kitty cat did not want to be my friend, I am sad to say. But one day I'm going to get some of the neighborhood cats around here to let me befriend them. Anyway, back to the video. So again, if you've been watching my channel, you will know that I love to freehand things. It's really what I did for the majority of my crochet journey, really up until starting this channel. I was mainly a freehand girl, and I still love to freehand, but I've never done something like this where you don't even really have an idea of where it's going. You kind of just go with the flow. When I freehand things, I usually know what I have in mind of what I'm making, but I think it would be really fun to do this freehand concept and maybe make something like a rug or even like a tapestry, like wall hanging type of, abstract art. I don't know, but it sounds really fun and I want to try it. So the second thing on my list is micro crochet, which I have talked about a couple of times on this channel. And I am starting to have my doubts that it may or may not be for me after working with some thin yarn and it feeling a little bit tedious to me, but I am still going to try it. The main form of micro crochet that I'm attracted to is the teeny tiny little granny square blankets that I've seen people make. I think that is just so stinking cute. I know that people do micro amigurumi, which I probably will try, but I don't know if that is as appealing to me as just the like teeny tiny granny square blankets or just like little blankets in general or like pillows, like dollhouse kind of size stuff. I think that is just so stinking cute and I really want to try it. But I am not sure if I'm going to like it or not, but I am going to at least try it. The next thing on my list is dyeing yarn. I have never even attempted to do anything like that before, but I have recently gotten into hand-dyed yarn. I've only tried a couple so far, and I think there's just something so beautiful and artistic about hand-dyed yarn that I really want to try it. I may or may not be terrible at it. Traditionally, things like that, I tend to be pretty messy at. I have done tie-dyeing a couple of times, and it never really has turned out the way that I want it to. So who knows? I doubt hand-dyeing yarn will ever become like a business venture for me, but I do want to try it for fun. Let me know if you have ever tried dyeing yarn and all of your tips and tricks and all of that. I, again, have not done a ton of research on this, but it just sounds fun to me, but it also sounds a little daunting. So any tips that you have, please let me know. The next thing is actually like two separate things that I'm just kind of combining into one, and that is a skirt and or a dress. I have never made a skirt or a dress. I've only ever made sweaters and tops. I've never made anything for the bottom half of my body, and I would really like to try. I think that it just sounds fun, and I think that a really cute crochet skirt could actually be like a nice addition to my wardrobe. So that is something that I want to try. I actually saw Killian from Viney Maple make her own just freehand skirt, and it was so stinking cute, and I was really inspired after that. So I want to try making a skirt. The next one I think Lee also had on her list, which was to make a corner to corner project. I do know how to do corner to corner. I learned a while back, but I haven't made anything other than just like a washcloth with corner to corner so far. I do want to try to make something where it's pixelated, either a just small granny square or several small granny squares, or maybe even a huge blanket in corner to corner. Now, you guys know, if you've been watching my channel, that I don't always do as well with like very precise color changes. I get a little bit intimidated by that because if you mess up once, it can throw the whole thing off, and that is, again, really daunting to me. But I want to at least give it a try. I think that corner to corner blankets can look so stinking cute. You can find the really simple ones, the really more detailed ones. So I want to at least give it a try. So since filming this video, I actually already tried corner to corner crochet. You will have to find out all of my thoughts on it in the next video, so stay tuned for that. The next one on my list is bead crochet. And I know that there are some different ways that you can do this. Some people will just kind of put beads randomly throughout their project in tops. I've even seen the creator of the Pocket Dragon has some bead dragons available. I may start there with my bead crochet journey because I'm already familiar with that pattern, so it might be a little bit of a good entryway. But I also know that there are patterns where you put the beads on the string to begin with and then crochet with that. I kind of want to try that too, just to see what that's like. So that is definitely on my list. Although again, some of this might be a little bit tedious for me, but I want to at least try it. You never know till you try. So my next one is another pretty simple one, and that is to do a granny square project where it is a bunch of separate granny squares, either for a cardigan or a blanket. It may surprise you that I have never done this. The only granny square where it's separate granny square projects I've done have been bags and a pillow. And that's pretty much it. I would like to make an entire cardigan and or a blanket, just something like that with a bunch of separate granny squares. For some reason, I just have never done it. And I always think that they look really cute when I see other people do them. But for me, I just have never gotten around to making one. So it's on my bucket list. So another thing that is on my list that I've talked about just a little bit in my cross stitching video, if you watch that one, I talked about how I think it would be fun to try cross stitching on top of crochet. And I've seen some people do this. It still is, again, one of those things where it might be a little bit difficult for my brain because for some reason, looking at a chart and translating that over is a little bit tricky for my brain. But I think for some reason it would work easier for me on top of crochet than it would just on fabric. And maybe I'm thinking completely wrong and it's actually harder. I don't know. Let me know if you've tried it. But I just think that it always looks really cute. So I want to try it. So the next thing on my list is something I'm again surprised that I have never done, and that is to go to some sort of yarn event where people are selling yarn or even just like a yarn exchange. I've seen some of those going around. I've never been to anything in person with yarn related at all. I've never been to a crochet class. I have been to some local yarn shops, but just to pick up some yarn and then leave. So that is all I've ever done with yarn in person. I've only ever bought it, and I think it would be fun to go to some sort of event where different vendors are selling their yarn. That's particularly what I'm the most interested in. But I also think it would be fun to have a big event where everyone is just like sitting and crocheting together. That kind of reminds me of Gilmore Girls. I think they were knitting in that episode, but I think something like that would also be really fun. I have no idea how to even find events like that. I don't think that my town doesn't even have like a crochet club or anything. So I don't know where I would find an event like that to go to, but I would be interested to go to that. As an introvert, it shouldn't surprise me that I've never done anything like that because I barely ever leave my house, but I want to push myself out of my comfort zone and do something in person related to crochet and or yarn. So we are already at the last thing on my bucket list, which is to write a crochet book. Now, I said that these were in no particular order, but this one I did leave for last because it is for sure the most time consuming and the most daunting thing on this list. I have always loved the idea of writing a book in general, but particularly a crochet book. But I am just kind of wanting to take my time with it, wait for an idea to come to me. I have had some ideas over the years, but none of them have really panned out. I am still pretty new to publishing my own patterns. I have been writing down my own patterns and again, freehanding for, over a decade at this point. But as far as actually publishing patterns, that I've only been doing for a year and a half. So I, again, have ideas and things that I might want to do in the future, but it's not something that I'm going to rush out and do a sloppy job of. It's something that I really want to take my time with. And really, writing a book is not even just a crochet related bucket list item. It's a life bucket list item. I've always wanted to write some sort of book in my life. And of course, crochet is one of the things I'm the most passionate about. So it would be only natural for me to write a crochet book, but I will have to, again, wait till just the right idea comes across for me. So that is, in fact, the last thing on my list. And I think it would be a really fun idea to do a whole series on my channel of me checking off some of these things. So let me know what you think about that, which should be the first in the series. I'm kind of leaning towards freehand crochet being the first thing that I try, but let me know what you would like to see. And let me know what is on your crochet bucket list. As always, if you've made it to this part of the video, I want to know, what were you working on as you watched today's video? Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to come hang out with me and my skeleton back there. You can join my Patreon where I have bonus videos, I have exclusive patterns, you can get access to my Discord, and thank you again for watching. I'll see you next time.